We're going to get into the first one right now. All right, so first story today has to do with the Israeli Security Cabinet approves plans to take control of Gaza City. And I picked this story because, like, was this maybe the plan all along? You know, like, was this what their idea was all along? Who knows? But anyway, let's get into it. Let's see what it says. We have, as far as bias reporting, we've got 16% coming from the left, or excuse me, 16% coming from the right, 36% from the left, and 48% coming from the center. So if this was a blind spot issue, it would be more of a blind spot issue for the right than the left. So I have my articles pulled by factuality, and the first one that I could find that I could get to was actually by the BBC. So I'm not seeing that on here, but I like a lot of times this oh no, it's the third one. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me, obviously. Just listen to me read the news. Don't listen to like anything else that I say. So yeah, so BBC News, it says what we know about Israel's plans to take over Gaza City. And let's get into the article here. Israeli Security Cabinet has approved a plan to take control of Gaza City in a controversial escalation of its war in Gaza. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians live in the city in the north of the Gaza Strip. It was in the enclave's most populous city before the war. Several world leaders have condemned the plan, and the UN has warned that it would lead to more massive forced displacement and more killing. Hamas warned a fierce resistance to the move. The plan also faces fierce opposition within Israel, including from military officials and hostages' families. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has told Fox News earlier that Israel's plan to occupy the entire Gaza Strip and eventually hand it over to Arab forces. Much is still unclear, but here's what we know about the new plan. Okay, so hand it over to Arab forces, in case you're just listening and not watching, is in quotes there. So, what are the details of the plan? A statement released by the office of the Israeli Prime Minister said that the Israeli Defense Force would prepare for taking control of Gaza City. It outlined what it said were 5 principles for ending the war: the disarmament of Hamas, the return of all hostages, both living and dead, the demilitarization of the Gaza Strip, Israeli security control over the Gaza Strip, and the establishment of an alternative civilian administration that is neither Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority. The IDF said that the military would prepare to take control of Gaza City while providing humanitarian aid to the civilian populations outside the combat zones. It's unclear if this is new aid, and if it will be delivered by controversial Israeli and U.S.-backed Gaza Humanitarian Foundation or another mechanism. Hamas has said the approval of the plans to occupy Gaza constitutes a new war crime. We warn the criminal occupation that this criminal adventure will cost it dearly and will not be an easy journey, it said in a statement on Friday. Why is just Gaza City being taken over? Before the cabinet meeting, Netanyahu said he wanted Israel to control all of Gaza, but in a new plan, only Gaza City is mentioned. Reports in Israeli media suggest that there were heated exchanges with the army's chief of staff, who voiced his strong opposition to a full takeover of Gaza. Oh, God. We'll talk about this after the article's done. Israel has said that it currently controls 75% of Gaza, while the UN estimates some 86% of the territory is either in militarized zones or under evacuation orders. The plan aims to have Israeli forces move to take control of the largest city in the enclave, which has already been heavily damaged by Israeli bombing and ground offensive. It is surrounded by land that has already been under IDF control or subject to an evacuation order. Control over the city is likely to be the first phase of a full-scale takeover of the Gaza Strip, our Middle East correspondent Hugo Bachega says. There has also been some speculation that the threat of full occupation could be part of a strategy to put pressure on Hamas to make concessions in stalled ceasefire negotiations. Netanyahu told Fox News Israel does not want to keep Gaza and intends to hand it over to Arab forces. We want to have a security perimeter. We do not want to govern it, he told the channel. When will Israel take over Gaza City? Israel has not said when the takeover will begin, but reports in Israeli media suggest the military will not move into Gaza City immediately, and residents will need to leave first. Israel said it believed that an alternative plan presented to its cabinet would not achieve the defeat of Hamas or the return of the abductees. However, it's not clear what the alternative plan was or who had submitted it. Israel media reports that it was more limited to Israeli media reports it was more limited proposal from the Army's chief of staff. It was a more limited proposal by the Army's chief of staff. Okay. Netanyahu is being intentionally vague over which Arab forces he believes could run Gaza, according to BBC's chief international correspondent, Lys Duquette, as he has been in the past with his plans for the territory. He may be referring to the Jordanians and the Egyptians who have said they are willing to work with Israel, but they have made it clear that they will not go into Gaza on the back of an Israeli occupation. No more details have been shared regarding the timeline for the Gaza's post-takeover government. What has been the reaction? Netanyahu is facing mounting criticism from hostage families and from world leaders. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has called Israelis' escalation wrong and that it will only bring more bloodshed. On Friday, Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz said his government will not approve any exports of military equipment to Israel that could be used in Gaza until further notice. He said it was increasingly difficult to understand how the Israeli military plans would help achieve legitimate aims. Historically, Germany has been one of the largest arms suppliers to Israel, and the United States, of course. The Palestinian president, Mohammed Abbas, has described the move as a fully fledged crime. Turkey's foreign ministry said Israel's aims to forcibly displace Palestinians from their own land. The UN human rights chief, Volker Turk, says the war in Gaza must end now and warns that further escalation will result in more massive forced displacements, more killing, more unbearable suffering, senseless destruction, and atrocity crimes. The Hostage Families Forum headquarters said the decision is leading us towards a colossal catastrophe for both the hostages and our soldiers. However, the U.S. has been much less critical. Oh, you don't say. On Tuesday, U.S. President Donald Trump said it was pretty much up to Israel whether to fully occupy Gaza, and Washington ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee said that the plan is not America's concern. It's not our job to tell them what they should or should not do, he said, as we bomb Iran. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Okay, so that's the whole article from the BBC, but let's talk about the fact that, like, I'm gonna let you form your own opinion, Tubes. We're gonna move right along. I fucking can't. Hey, thanks for checking out this video from Nightly News this morning. If you wouldn't mind, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video or when we go live on Tuesdays and Fridays.